Welcome back. I'm at the Cliffs Mountain Park in South Carolina. Beautiful day, beautiful setting, beautiful facility. And today I'm going to test out my wedge versus the chipper. Yep, the chipper from Ping. This is quite new to me, and I'm going to try and challenge myself to perform as well as I can with the wedge, as well as I can with this, and see how the comparison draws out. I'm going to set up a 9-hole course, playing from rough and fairway, some kind of tricky shots, some more straightforward shots, to see just how well this can measure up to that, considering I've never really used one before. And we'll have a little bit of information on how to use it, or how I think is best to use it. Give it a go. Okay, this is a really nice area. I'm going to use it, what's actually the putting green. As you can see here, we've got 3 holes, and I'm going to choose 3 positions around the green. So maybe some slightly longer shots, a couple of slightly shorter ones, definitely from the rough as well, just to see how it figures out. So we're going to use 1 ball to each hole, 3 locations to hit from, gives us 9 holes. Let's see who wins. Let's jump into this. I have a front pin right, front pin left, back pin just right of center, and I'm going to alternate between clubs. I'll go with the wedge on the first one. Chipper can follow because there's going to be a bit of learning going on. First shots of the day. I get the feeling it's extremely quick once it hits the green. I have a little bit of an upslope here to try and kill it. I can't possibly land it on, definitely for these first 2 flags, so I'm going to have to use the fringe. Wouldn't be the best shot. I'll be pretty upset with the miss. That's enough talking now. Let's give it a go. So we'll go wedge, go to the left flag. It's going to have to bounce short. I can just see it kicking a little left on first bounce and not much after that. It needs very low speed once it touches the green. So it's going to take a few hops before it gets on there, ideally. I'm going to play a pretty stock shot, not get too fancy with it. Maybe just a fraction lower than stock. I can see my spot. It is going to feed. Wasn't far short, you know, maybe a foot short landing spot. Just needed a touch more pace onto the green, but you know what, short-sided onto a quick downslope, not too upset with that. It's probably about 10 feet just over. Now I go with the chipper. I'm going to try and play all the chippers as putt-like as I can, so fairly narrow stance. Ball back a little bit. I'm going to have to read the slope a little bit better. I think the key here is to not overdo it. Okay, don't try and force the ball on, play it like a putting stroke. And trust it's going to go through the fringe because these come off a very low spin. It shouldn't stick. Okay. It's got a little bit more speed on it. It's pretty good. It's gone on, I think they're probably about equidistant, to be honest with you. I will pace it. We'll take a look. We're going to call that even. Chipper might just have got it, but it's close. Again, I'm even more short-sighted now. This is one of those where in the real world, I think 10 feet is good. Really hard to hit it close. If I start flirting with the flag too much, it's going to kick it right. I'm going to risk not actually being on the green at all. I'm going to be into the upslope. Again, try and kill it. Hopefully it just feeds around. I'm actually going to play a lower ball flight with this one with the wedge. This spin rate is going to be quite different to a chipper. It might dig in a touch. But that just helps me slow the ball down. Okay. Right, I did exactly what I called. That first bounce, it did just stick into the upslope. It's such a fine line between great and poor there. But I'm putting. I'm just off the green. It's not the end of the world. Let's see if this can do a little bit better. I think for this kind of shot, the chipper might have an advantage due to the low spin. Let's see if we can do a little bit better. Commit to a putting stroke pace. That's really nice. Oh no. Oh. Just missed the edge. Okay, the chipper might be too up. Might be too up. Just really nice for short-sided, especially if you can use the fringe. These fringes are firm, like I said. Different ball game to the back pin though. Let's see if we can just kind of cut check this in a little bit, land it on the green, take the fringe out, because the chipper I still can't land this on. It's going to have to land short. This I should be able to land on there and hopefully gain some degree of control. So just slightly spinnier than stock is what I'm looking for. Wow, that's quick. That is so fast. I think the chipper's going to kill me. I honestly felt like I played a good shot there, but we're going onto downslope, down grain. I hit it great. The check just wasn't enough. I've just chosen the wrong shot, executed it really well. So this one, I feel like it should just be up and over, feed it onto the green with a little bit of speed. Putting stroke, I'm even taking putting stroke grip. Right, palm to palm, I do the index finger stuff. I'm trying to do my best to make a stroke that is as putt-like as possible. Just the ball back a touch. Just to show how quick the green is, and that's not gone on with much speed at all. Still going, still going. 3 feet. I could have hit that wedge shot absolutely perfect, club twirl the lot, and I still don't think it would have been closer than that ball. So on this short-sided, firm, fast downslope, this thing, I think it's won every hole. Okay, let's get up there and take a look. Now this one just off the edge of the green, it didn't need much more pace, and it's all down to the hole from there, so all downhill. This one really didn't need much more, tiny bit of pace. Let's just see which one. Yeah, the chipper one. Chipper won that one. No doubt in my mind. This one, and we're almost tapping in. And just to show you how quick this is, this ball, it just ran off the back edge. There's nothing to stop it. It's across the cart path. So that's not ideal. 3-0 to the chipper. We've come to the other side of the green, so we're in the rough. Again, short side for sure, slightly short-sided, much more green, so kind of similar. Last time I did go with the wedge, first time every time, so there was a bit of a learning advantage for the chipper. I forgot to do what I said I was going to do. So I'm going to go chipper first on all 3 of these. Not just going to give me that much of a clue apart from what it does on the green, purely because I'm going to be bouncing the wedge on the green. The chipper I can't, not to the first 2 for sure. Long one, even then I think I'm flirting, so again, I can't bump these. I can't land them on the green. I have to bump these, sorry. Let's go left flag first. So I'm going to try and make sure the lies are consistent. They're going to be sat kind of just moderately in the rough. Not up on top, but not down too much. That pile of balls might be interfering. We'll find out in a second. Just got to bump it into the hill. Putting stroke again. Whoa, it's going to try. It does try and feed that way, I promise. That first bounce though was hard left. The slope is it's slightly tilted left. It should go left, but that was pretty extreme. That's just a perfect example of why fringes, as good as these are, they're still a little bit unpredictable. Okay, so I think this lie's pretty similar. With this, obviously, I'm going to play a completely different shot. I'm going to try and throw it up. Nothing too crazy. Just past that pile of balls, hopefully with a little bit of trajectory on it. To soften the landing. I've talked it up. Let's see what we can do. Just dug it a fraction. Okay, not bad, it's just edged it. It went on a little bit more than it should have. Didn't quite get the touch. It's probably 8 feet, whereas the chipper's 10. Okay, but it's still putting with the chipper. Okay, we're gonna go long flag just to vary it up. This is a tricky one for me with the chipper. There's all the green in the world to work with a wedge. I don't think a chipper can land on. I think it's gonna be a little bit too hot. Is it against the rules for me to open the club face a little bit? I don't think so. I'm making the rules up as I go along. I'm going to open the face a touch. Nothing crazy, just going from 12 o'clock to 12:15, 12:30. Try and do the same thing. I've got to aim left with this, it will pop to the right. Do my best to make a putting stroke. I don't know the green great. It is going to feed from the left a lot. It's got to start significantly left of the hole. There is a lot of slope there, as we saw from the first 3 shots. Okay, putting stroke, slightly open face, chipper. Let's see what we can do. I couldn't land that any better. That might be the worst green read. Knowing that everything goes this way, to see that ball not move. It's dummy, flummoxed me. You know what, if you're not a good green reader, sometimes it's better to fly it further. You're going to have to deal with the slope around the hole then, right? Makes sense. So I'm going to try and fly this a lot further on. I'm not going to be able to spin it because I'm in the rough, but the spin rate should be a little higher. This is where it breaks 12 feet left to right and just completely messes with my head. Okay, fly a little further. I still think it should feed from the left to some degree, maybe on that kind of little range bucket in the background. This rough is sticky. Come on, come on. That's not good either. Really not the shot that I was looking for. Just no break. I tried to aim it at the brown thing in the background. I've pulled it a little bit and it's just not moved. I so desperately want to hit another shot, but I can't. That's not the game. The wedge has won both of these, but they were both poor. You know, I've left myself maybe 8-9 feet on the first one, 10 feet on the second. Just not good at all. Chipper has to bump into the hill now, so again, a little slightly ball back, putting stroke. Pick a spot. Try and feed it over the top of the hill. I can see it. Can I hit it? Go on, go on. 12 feet. Okay, onto the wedge. Make sure the lie is similar. Pretty good. This is going to be quite a bit higher. Not ridiculous, but definitely higher. I feel like I've just redeemed myself. Tiniest bit. That is exactly as pictured. Great shot. Again, club, it didn't stick as much as the other ones, but I played it more open. I've laid the toe down a little bit, get that heel away from the kind of grabby Bermuda grass. And I played a nice high, soft shot. So that's perfect. That's 3 each. Okay, really, first 2 were poor on all sides. I executed quite nicely with the chipper on the third one. Just didn't quite have the speed to get up the hill. And then I could just take all the hill out with the third shot with the wedge. So 3 each. Let's see what happens on the last 3 holes. Right, here we go. Last 3 shots. Chipper, wedge, 3 each. I'm below the green now. Very short side, lots of room, moderate amount of room. Okay, the green is obviously above me, maybe a little bit more so to the left pin. Nothing too worrying here. Let's try and alternate. Which one first? Chipper first. Chipper first, left flag. Okay, again, it's got to go into the hill, all right? I did try and add loft on one of the previous holes and just couldn't land it soft enough. So this has to be into the top of the upslope, maybe 3 feet short of the green to try and pop it up. It should kill it. It is quite a steep slope. Let's try and read the green a little bit because I've been terrible at that so far. That's what's really hurt me. Stop talking, hit the shot. Just under hit. It's trying. The ball comes off quick. Okay, it does come off quick. So when it's a little bit delicate, because I've not practiced with it, I do feel a little bit tentative. I just don't want to flash it by the hole. But that's lack of practice as much as anything else. It's not too hot. You know, chipper needs to be hot because you want to try and make almost a putt-like stroke with it versus a wedge swing. When you're using it for a reason, right? Wedge swing's probably not great. So you have to play it like a putting stroke in my mind. Knowing the ball speed needs to be quick, a little bit of adjustments required there. I think the swing weight's E6, so it's got a good amount of weight to it, and the ball comes off with a good amount of speed. Right, wedge. So this is, I'm thinking a little bit more straightforward. I'm on a slight upslope. I'm uphill all the way to the hole. I should be able to ramp up the aggression a little bit with the wedge. I'm expecting a little bit of dig, most likely. Let's fire it up there. There's the dig. A little bit of spin. Okay, that's a clear winner. That's maybe 5 feet by, so it's okay. If we're playing match play, I just have to get the job done. I'm going to go wedge first this time. And we'll go with a little short one. I'm in two minds here. There's not a lot of space. Maybe 12 feet. It's above me, so it's going to be a little bit flat. Do I land it on, hit it up, or do I bump it into the upslope? I'm going to go on. Now, if there's a card in my hand, I would consider bumping the slope. I just don't want to take the risk with the spin with this club. Now, I could drop a wedge or two, bring the spin down. Yep. But my bag's 15 yards away, so let's try and pop this up a little bit. Just going to go a little bit toe down, hold the face open, pop it on the edge. Yeah, that's going to win the hole. I will do my best. That came out great. Okay, good light. Have to use the hill. I know the break. So I've got to hold this to keep the match going. Be aggressive. It's not a bad shot. It's 6 feet. I'm going to take it. Now, sadly, that means the wedge has won for the chipper. But we need to talk about that a little bit. Back flag, I'll be quick. Let's fly this just past the first flag, drive it a little bit. Just get it to check up the slope. Okay, as described, 4 feet. Chipper again. It's got to be into the slope. I've got to try and kick it right at the top of the hill with speed, just to the right of that first flag. It's got to line-wise. Wasn't just to the right, was it? Let's go again. Okay, reload. Just to the right of that flag. Landing spot the same, as far as distance goes at least. Just outside the wedge, maybe by a foot. But it's a good shot. Okay, I'm not disappointed with that at all. Let's have a little walk up. Okay, so obviously we know what won this one. 6 feet for the chipper, in the hole for the wedge. Little short for the chipper, again 6 feet, maybe 6.5 for the wedge. Then at the back, 6 feet wedge, just outside 7. And then 8.5 for the chipper. So there we go. The wedge actually won 6-3 despite being 3-0 down after the first set of balls. But why was it down? Well, the first set was short-sided to 2 of the flags onto a pretty extreme downslope down grain. Had to try and land the wedge short of the green, and spin becomes a little bit of an issue there. It can really kill you unless you play more aggressive and land it closer to the edge, and hopefully the spin takes effect. If it doesn't take effect, the ball scoots on. It just gets difficult. Obviously, I was trying to land one on there with the assumption I could spin it, and it was downhill, down grain. It just didn't take. So the chipper was a big advantage. When I was bouncing it short of the green, because it doesn't spin so much, it rolls up and over quite nicely. When there's a lot of green to work with, again, chipper's very, very good. But as soon as I was in the rough, I needed height. It became a bit of a different ball game. I had to bounce all the shots short with the chipper, apart from one that I tried to land on there and it just went. The wedge, because of the extra height, just made life much, much easier. Final set of balls, I was below the surface of the green. I had more space to work with on 2 of the 3 holes. One was kind of short-sided, which went in with the wedge. And again, chipper, I had to bump it into the slope every time and it became a little bit difficult to judge pace. Though having said that, it was still, what, 8, 9 feet at the most with the chipper, which is perfectly acceptable. And realistically, if you're short-sided, if you're having to bump it into hills and slopes off the green, on anything but a links course, things become a little bit unpredictable. And a chipper to 8, 9, 10 feet is actually pretty good. It's much better than a poor shot with a wedge. The margins just get a little bit tight here, as we know, in certain situations, and this can kind of come into its own. But when you need height, the chipper's not going to fulfill everything you need. Although if you find yourself in that situation and you do play with a chipper, you should really be aiming for 20, 25 feet anyway, or anywhere on the green for that matter. Give yourself a putt if you find yourself in a spot where the chipper doesn't fit, but you can kind of make it work to get a putter in your hand for the next shot. Now, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Do you have a chipper? Have you tried one? Would you consider it? If I had space in the bag, would I consider it? Yeah, maybe. I think it has its space. Certain situations, certain courses, I'll probably bag it. But for the most part, I'm going to use this because of its versatility. Both still great clubs.